You think you're stuck on them. You're not. You're stuck on a loop they trained your brain to run. And your brain is still running it because nobody ever told it the game was over. It usually starts when your hands are busy and your mind isn't. The shower, the drive home, the 10 seconds before sleep. And there it is again. Their voice. Not a thought about them. The actual sound. The exact cadence they used when they said your name like they wanted something. Months later, after you've done everything right, and it still plays. Here's what's actually happening. Why the part that runs while you sleep is the one nobody warns you about, and the moment it finally goes quiet. Start with where it shows up. Notice that the voice never interrupts a hard task. It waits. It arrives the moment your attention has nowhere to be. You can be mid-email and completely fine, and then it's the walk to the kitchen that undoes you. That's not random. Your brain has a setting. It drops into the instant you stop concentrating. Researchers call it the default mode network, but you can just call it idle mode. It's the channel that runs when you're doing nothing in particular, replaying the past, rehearsing the future, narrating yourself to yourself. In people who can't stop circling a loss, idle mode doesn't quietly hum. It gets louder. So the replay isn't a sign you're going backwards. It's the sound of a mind with a spare second and one unfinished thing to do with it. Now the harder question. Why them? You've lost people before without your brain putting their voice on repeat for a season. Because of how the good moments arrived. If this relationship ran on warmth that came and went without warning, affection, then cold, then affection again, never on a schedule you could predict, your brain was learning the whole time. The warm reply that finally landed at 2 a.m. after 3 days of silence. That was the reward, and your brain logged exactly how long it had to wait for it. B.F. Skinner mapped this decades ago. A reward that comes at random, on no fixed pattern, produces the most stubborn behavior of any reward there is. More stubborn than steady kindness. Far more stubborn than steady cruelty. The reason is almost unfair. When a reward is unpredictable, your brain can't tell the difference between a long silence and a permanent ending. So it keeps the line open. It keeps checking. It was built to keep checking precisely when there's no signal coming. That's why the cruelest part wasn't the leaving. It was the inconsistency that taught your brain leaving might not be real. If this is the first time anyone's explained why your own mind won't cooperate with you, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe and stay. Now the voice itself. Here's why it's the voice and not just a memory of them. Your brain doesn't store every experience equally. It tags certain memories as important and files those in deeper and stronger. And a chemical doing much of that tagging is believed to be dopamine, the same reward chemical that spiked every time they came back. The stress hormones that flooded you every time they vanished may have helped lock it in too. A relationship that ran on unpredictable highs gets flagged over and over as critical to remember. The voice was the delivery system for the reward, so the voice is what gets burned in, and the burning in happens partly while you sleep. When you rest, your brain replays the day's flagged material to lock it down, and the memories it rehearses hardest are the ones marked most urgent, which is how you can wake with them already in your head before you've had a single conscious thought. Helen Fisher put people who'd just been rejected into a brain scanner, people still in love, on average about 2 months out. Looking at a photo of the one who left, their reward system lit up like an addiction, not the region that handles sadness, the region that handles wanting. 2 months in, the brain wasn't grieving them. It was still craving them. That's not grief. It's a craving. One you feed every time you replay the voice. And you can stop. Every time the voice plays and you sink into it, you're not just remembering, you're re-recording. Memory isn't a sealed file you press play on. Each time you pull it up, it goes soft for a moment and gets saved again. And whatever you feel during the replay gets saved with it. Replay it in longing, and you file it one notch stronger in longing. That's why the loop never closed. You weren't failing to move on. You were watering it every day and expecting it to die. But the softness runs both ways. The same recall that deepens a memory can loosen it, when you let the voice arrive without sinking in, when you notice it and don't chase it. Starve it of the feeling, and your brain finally does what it couldn't before. It stops filing them under paused and moves them to over. The voice doesn't go quiet the day you stop loving them. It goes quiet the day your nervous system stops finding evidence the game is still on. If their voice showed up while you were watching this, you're not broken. You're carrying a loop that was installed in you. And loops, unlike people, can be let go of. If it's swallowing whole days, a therapist who works with relational trauma can help. There's no prize for doing it alone. If a specific moment came back, the place you always hear them, the line on repeat, tell me where, in one word. And if someone you love keeps apologizing for not being over it, send them this. They need to hear it isn't their fault. We translate what your body already knows into language your mind can finally use. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.